So first and foremost, I'd like to thank Coach Hughes. I mean, he's the one that took the time to nominate me. He was my high school baseball coach, and I've not seen him for a long time. So I thank him for thinking of me to nominate me and do the due diligence of the process. So I want to thank him. I want to thank the committee members that I don't know who you all are, but I want to thank you. I also want to thank my parents, Bobby and Joanna Embry. Bobby coached here in the late 70s, early 80s, so I appreciate him, teaching me the game of basketball, shooting, fundamentals, etc. I want to thank my mother, who, if anybody knows her, she's fiercely competitive. She always had that competitiveness in her that I think carried over to us. So I want to thank her. I want to thank my siblings for setting good examples, athletically, academically. We basically just got in line and kept doing what we needed to do when it came to sports and academics. I want to thank my teammates. I kind of sit back, you go through this process, you think about who you played with, and in my opinion, I think I played with some of the best that ever played here. So without them, I don't think I'd have the success we had 20 years ago. Certainly want to thank my high school coaches. I mentioned Coach Hughes, who was my high school baseball coach, Coach Arms, who was my high school football coach, also Coach Hutchins, who was my basketball coach. You kind of sit back and think, now you have two kids, they dedicated a lot of time out of their days to help us get better. So I want to thank them. I want to thank Coach Newton as well. I mean, he was my coach growing up from when we played 12-year-old Babe Ruth World Series team all the way through travel ball with Players Dugout. One of the best baseball minds, in my opinion, in this area, and he helped me get to the next level, which was one of my goals. He put bugs out there to get me in front of coaches, and I was able to fulfill one of my goals playing at Western, and I think it had a lot to do with him. So my most memorable moment when it comes to individual basis, I think back my first home run at Manual High School. I was lucky enough to play as an 8th grader on the varsity team. And if you've ever been to Manual, it was one of the most unique setups that I remember. The baseball field was behind the football field. And it's the only analogy I could probably come up with is kind of like Fenway Park. Short and left field, straightaway center was long, right field was pretty deep. And that day I hit a home run that got up over the net there that maybe was 250 feet. And, if we played here, it would have been a can of corn and it'd have been an out, and I would have went back to the dugout. But it just so happened there that I hit it 255 and got out and hit my first home run. And I remember rounding second base, and they started playing music, which I thought was pretty unique. That's not something we did at Larue County for a road team, for a visiting team. And I'm rounding second base, hit home plate, I'm on cloud nine. Upperclassmen were happy for me. But what made that kind of unique is my brother, who was a senior at the time, was batting right behind me. So we batted 1-2 that year. And sure enough, his next at bat, his went over quite a bit further, and we went back to back that day. So I've always thought that was a unique experience with, getting to share that with my brother. So that was, a great memory that I had. As far as the other sports, I think back more of the team specific. I think with, football, I believe we were one of only 2 teams that went undefeated in the regular season in that 2002 team, led by Jordan Newton, Jared Butler, Brett Decker. I mean, we had a slew of good players that led the way, and being a part of that team was special. With basketball, we've won back-to-back district championships. Got to play in a lot of great games, so there's a lot of different things that I could just talk about, but those were kind of three things that come to mind. The 2003 baseball team, to me, and this is just my biased personal opinion, is the greatest baseball team that's played here before. And again, it was led by a lot of great players, whether it was Adam Masterson or Jordan Newton, Brian Allen, whoever, and we went through I think the most wins in a single season. We got to experience the region championship, the semi-state championship. We fell short, losing the Louisville Male in the semifinals, 7-5. But every time I see one of those guys, we just go back in time and kind of talk about that 2003 team and what could have been, and how great was the bus rides coming back from Fort Walton Beach from spring break. But those were just great times that I wouldn't change for the world. As far as high school participation, I think it was a time to grow. Being a teenager, you're always fairly immature, but you get to grow with your teammates, you get to grow with your coaches, you get to grow with the community. One thing that I think is unique about Larue County is how they are behind you. They support you no matter what. And through sports, I learned a lot with good things happen, bad things happen, and really it comes down to having the right attitude when bad things happen. Having the right work ethic was very important, which all that translates to everything after high school when it comes to professionally or even within your family. You learned when you're 16, 17 years old that you can apply it to your day-to-day life. In general, it means a lot to me. I'm very grateful for the individuals that kind of look back and they see what you did 20 years ago, and for them to highlight it and highlight what I did as far as my work ethic, it means a lot. And I've got two small kids right now that I want them to experience similar things that I experienced. Meaning, I want them to be a part of a team. I want them to be a part of a community that gets behind them. But I also want them to go through the ups and downs, meaning you're accountable to your teammates. So when good things happen, you can be a part of it. When bad things happen, you're a part of that as well. And they can apply that to their lives. And I just want them to experience the same type of things that I did.